And welcome to Just for Clicks. I am Michael Buckheiser, back from the dead. I am the king of the puns, king of the trolls, king of the kings. I am back. The ice storm cannot hold me down for too long, but it did mess up the RTF production studio. So we are filming a little bit different today, so bear with me. I apologize missing the last couple days here, but we're going to do the college NCAA football pick'ems today. That and much more right after the intro. Just for clicks. And we are going to jump right into today's pick'em. I'm flying solo today on these pick'ems, so we're going to go through things a little bit quicker, like pretty much straightforward picks here. I'm going to start with the ACC, just alphabetical order here. First game on the docket for today, it's Pittsburgh at Wake Forest. I did see Wake Forest in person when they played Louisville a couple weeks ago. I do like what they have to offer in that backfield. The guy's slipping my name right now, but when he did play against Louisville, he ran for 250 yards, for 34 scores. I'm gonna have to go with Wake Forest on this one, simply because of what I saw them live, and I just respect of what they're doing there. Next up, we have NC State at Louisville, two bottom of the barrel ACT teams right here, and Louisville did just recently fire their coach, so I'm not for sure how much will those players have, or if they're going to rally around that intern coach. It is at home for Louisville, but I got to go with NC State. I just have more faith in NC State right now, and Louisville is just a dumpster fire. Moving on to the next one. Here we got Western Carolina versus North Carolina. I don't know about much about Western Carolina. I do. North Carolina's not having a great season either. But I'm going to have to go with the home team on this one. Give me North Carolina. Next up, we have number 20, Boston College versus Florida State. I did pick Florida State to beat Notre Dame last week, and that was clearly a wrong pick. But for some reason, I like this Seminole team. I don't know what it is about them. I mean, they are a mediocre 500 team, but give me Florida State with the upset win over Boston College. Just my gut's telling me to pick Florida State at home today. Next up, we have Virginia versus Georgia Tech. Give me Georgia Tech. That triple option is so hard to defend. Virginia's just been so up and down. You never know which Florida or Virginia team is going to show up and play. So give me Georgia Tech. Next up, we have Miami, the U, versus Virginia Tech. Once again, I'm not for sure with both these teams. I haven't really watched a lot of my ACC football in general. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go with the U. I'm going to have to go with history. I'm going to have to go with just the instinct on this one. Next up, we got Duke at number 2, Clemson. Clemson wins big. Duke is just not very good. I did watch them play last week. They just aren't very good. And possibly final game of the ACC game conference here. Possibly the game of the afternoon here. You have number 12 Syracuse versus number 3 Notre Dame. I did have Notre Dame getting beat last week to Florida State, and they came out and they definitely proved me wrong. And but looking at the BC or the college football playoff rankings and that kind of thing, I really see Notre Dame finding themselves way out. And it's at Syracuse. It's in New York. It's going to be a highly anticipated game. As much as I want to root for the Irish, root for them to do well, I just can't. I got to go with Syracuse on this one. It's a quote unquote neutral site game, but I believe Syracuse is in New York, so it's going to be kind of a home field. So give me Syracuse. Let's go on and move on to the Big 12. And we're going to jump right into the Big 12 here. First game up, we have TCU at Baylor. Give me TCU on this one. Baylor just really hasn't shown me a lot this year of what they can do. TCU, you kind of know what you're going to get with TCU. You're going to get a hard-nosed team, high scoring, and I have faith in them on the road versus Baylor. Next up, we have number 9 West Virginia at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State did take Oklahoma to the wire last week. I believe the final score was 46-45. West Virginia, this is a must-win game for them. For them to have any shot at the playoff, they have to win. And I feel with that sense of urgency that they're playing with, they're going to come out and they're going to dominate Oklahoma. Moving on, you have the Texas Tech Red Raiders versus the Kansas State Wildcats. If you are following the podcast, I did do a show earlier this week about Bill Snyder about how it is his time to leave. This is a home game. I believe the players are going to rally around Bill Snyder today. Although that Texas Tech high flying offense, it is hard to mess with that. But Kansas State at home, they are a tough team. With everything that's going on with Bill Snyder and the college right now, I think the players are going to rally around their coach, give it a good fight. So give me those Kansas State Wildcats. Next up, you have the Kansas Jayhawks versus number 6 Oklahoma. I believe Les Miles did just sign with Kansas as well to become their next head coach. Kansas is trash. They're horrible. Oklahoma, big. Next up, possibly the game of the weekend, unless you're a Cincinnati USC game fan. Number 16, Iowa State at number 15, Texas. This game has me scratching my head in all the wrong places because I don't know which Texas team is going to show up. Is the Texas team that lost to Maryland going to show up, or is that Texas team that beat Oklahoma going to show up? You don't know. What you do know is Iowa State is going to come out. They're going to play their game. They aren't going to be too high. They aren't going to be too low. So with that being said, give me Iowa State on the road. I guess you can say to upset Texas today. So let's go on and move on. Next up, we do have the Big Ten here. There really aren't a lot of marquee games happening today, so we're going to basically breeze right through these real fast. You have number 10 Ohio State at Maryland. I said this last week. I want Maryland to lose every game from here on out and get beat bad. I hope Ohio State does this for them. I have Ohio State in this one. Next up, you have number 14 Penn State at Rutgers. Rutgers is horrible. Penn State. This game kind of has me, wanting to go vice versa. You have number 22 Northwestern at Minnesota. I know Northwestern is a pretty solid team. They are ranked. They have played really, really well so far this year. Minnesota has done much of the same. I just don't know if that Minnesota team has enough to go toe to toe with Northwestern. Give me Northwestern on this one. Next up, you have Michigan State at Nebraska. Nebraska, I don't know what's going on there. I believe they have 2 wins on the season. They are in a rebuilding mode, and I look for them to get a win today at home versus Michigan State. Kind of send their season off on the right step to hit that recruiting trail next year. Next up, you have Iowa Hawkeyes versus the Illinois Fighting Illini. Whew. I don't like Illinois. I don't. Iowa. Give me Iowa. Next up, you have Wisconsin at Purdue. Purdue is a team kind of like Florida, kind of like Texas. You don't know which Purdue team you're going to get. Are you going to get the Purdue team that beat Ohio State? Or are you going to have the Purdue team that struggled against Illinois? But I'm going to go with Purdue at home at this one. Next up, you have Indiana at number 4, Michigan. a lot of people are circling this game as a trap game for Michigan. They are saying this because Michigan does play Ohio State next week. Are they looking past Indiana? Are they looking forward to that rivalry game versus Ohio State? I believe it's a 28-point spread on this game. And I think all those experts picking this upset, they're crazy. Give me Michigan, probably by a lot. Probably by a lot. Let's go ahead and move on. And moving on to the Pac-12, we did not pick Pac-12 games last week simply because the show was getting a little long. So I apologize for you Pac-12 fans out there that we did not give you a little bit of insight or my picks on those games last week. It is hard for us on the East Coast to stay up this late to watch big Pac-12 games. So I really can't talk educatedly on these games, but I'm going to pick them anyway. Anyways, here first game we have up here is number 19 Utah at Colorado. Colorado started amazing with what they were. I think we're 5-0 at one point, maybe even 6-0, ranked 15th, 16th in the nation. Since then, they've lost like 5 or 6 games in a row. Recently fired their head coach. Give me Utah by a lot. Next up, you have USC versus UCLA. A rivalry game, I do believe, at the Rose Bowl. Give me UCLA. I don't know why. I haven't seen neither of these teams play. I just have faith that UCLA will continue their winning ways, I guess. Oregon State at number 18 Washington. Number 18 Washington, give me them at home. Oregon State really only, I've seen them play in past in Pac-12 games, and I only see them really ever step up against Oregon and Washington State. That's not either of these teams. They're playing Washington, so give me Washington. Next up, you have Arizona at Washington State. This is a 10:30 p.m. game, so it doesn't come on. So it will not be getting done to 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. I might be able to catch you in this game. I did watch Washington State play 2 weeks ago, forgetting who they played against, but I was not impressed with Washington State at all. I do not feel they are a number 8 ranked team. Arizona is coming into Washington State. This is a primetime game over there on the West Coast. I'm gonna have it upset. Give me Arizona. Give me Arizona. Next up, you have Arizona State versus Oregon. Oregon is not the Oregon that we grew up liking in the early 2000s with all those flashy uniforms, high-flying offenses with Chip Kelly. And I do like this Arizona State team. From what I've seen of them, they are solid. They're going to be good in the next couple years, and just give me Arizona State on this one. And then the game that's been postponed is Stanford at Cal, because of the wildfires and that kind of thing. I'm not going to pick this game. I will pick it once it does come. Once they do reschedule it here. So let's go ahead and move on to our final division of the day. And that final division of the day is the SEC. Okay, I don't know what's going on with SEC this week, but I believe week 12 they basically try to schedule bye weeks without giving people bye weeks. I believe there's only 1-2 conference games in all of SEC. 3, it looks like. The rest of them are playing out of conference games, and they're playing a bunch of nobodies. First up here, you had the critical at Alabama. Give me Alabama. Idaho at Florida. Give me Florida. This one, we talked about this on the Big Blue Breakdown many times. Middle Tennessee State at Kentucky. Okay, I said this earlier this year that this would be a trap game for Kentucky. Middle Tennessee has scheduled 3 SEC opponents. They beat down a Western Kentucky team that should have beat Louisville earlier this year when Louisville was still, kind of clicking. So I want to pick the upset, but in my heart, I can't. Give me Kentucky in a very close matchup. One of the conference games that is going on here, we have Arkansas at 21 Mississippi State. Give me number 21 Mississippi State. Arkansas they aren't very good this year. Another conference game going on. You have Missouri at Tennessee. Both very solid, underranked teams, I do believe. I watched Missouri play against Kentucky, lost to 14-15 on a last-second touchdown, and Tennessee beat down Kentucky, just physically manhandled them last week. It is at Knoxville. Knoxville is a very hard place to play. Give me Tennessee on on that one. Next up is UMass at Georgia. Once again, the experts are kind of circling this game as a trip up for Georgia because they're looking forward to that SEC championship game versus Alabama. I don't really see it happening. Give me Georgia. Liberty at Auburn. Next game up on the docket. Give me Auburn. Don't know anything about Liberty, but SEC school. Give it to me. UAB at Texas A&M. I did watch Texas A&M play against Kentucky earlier this season, and I like what Texas A&M is building there. I look for them to win big against UAB. Next up, Rice at number 7, LSU. LSU by a lot. Yes, LSU did get manhandled by Alabama last week, or was it last week or two weeks ago? But look for LSU to make a push for the college football playoff. It would not surprise me if you see Michigan, Notre Dame stumble, get beat, Oklahoma get beat, West Virginia get beat, and you see LSU slide up in there. It's a very good possibility. A last conference game that we have going on here today, we have Ole Miss at Vanderbilt. Once again, I did see Vanderbilt play against Kentucky earlier this season. I do like the Vanderbilt. I believe they're the Commodores. And they're at home, night game. I don't know a lot about Ole Miss, just from what I've seen on the highlights and stuff, but I don't really like what they offer, and I don't think they match up well against Vanderbilt. Give me Vanderbilt by 14 points. Next up, you have Chattanooga versus South Carolina. South Carolina isn't very good. I don't know a lot about Chattanooga, as I say that as well. But I got to go with the home team, SEC school, South Carolina. I got to do it. Got to do it. And I'm going to pick one final game for everybody today. You guys heard the hype about this. College Game Day, ESPN College Game Day is down there. It is the Cincinnati versus UCF game. Believes Cincinnati is ranked number 24 and USC is ranked number 11. Believe UCF is going on a 25-game winning streak, if I'm not mistaken. They did struggle against Navy and Temple the last couple weeks, but they've shown how their winning ways are, kind of contagious, I guess. The only thing I have not seen any of these two teams play. I've read about it. I've done a little bit of research, and the only thing I can see here is Cincinnati played Temple and they lost 24-17 in overtime a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, and 2 weeks ago UCF played Temple and beat them 52-40. Since that loss to Temple, Cincinnati has been rolling. They beat Navy 42-0. They beat USF 35-23. So I'm going to go with the upset on this one. Give me the Cincinnati Bearcats. They are a kind of a local team, and I just want all the UCF talk to stop. I don't want to see them in the playoffs. I don't want to see them even have a chance to make the playoffs. So give me the upset. Give me Cincinnati, and we will end all of this 25-game win streak. Give us a chance. And they shouldn't have even won the national championship last year, or their quote-unquote mystery championship, or whatever they called it. Either way, give me the Bearcats and a big win with the upset. Get UCF out of talk of even thinking about making the playoffs. And with that being said, guys, that is my college football pick'em for the day. Like I said, I apologize for missing the last few days. The ice storm really took a toll on the studio that we have here, so we're having to find alternative ways to produce the podcast for you guys. Sorry, this is not what I'm used to, but we'll definitely make it work. So join me tomorrow as we get the NFL pick'em. Also join the RTF Sports Talk, Big Blue Breakdown, Loyal BBN Fan, Barbershop Talk. What else? We have the Can't Get Right Couple, Morning with Mike, Just for Clicks. Be sure to follow RTF Productions podcast. There's good things happening there, guys. Enjoy the day.